Money Moves with Myth 2.0, the podcast. And always remember, gentlemen, it's a movie. So, this is a message for everybody in their early 20s or in their 20s right now, but especially the early 20s. This is how you defer yourself from becoming homeless. This is the blueprint. As you guys know, I was homeless in my 20s, off and on. The longest time ever I was homeless was in my 20s. So if you're 18 and you're catching this video, then don't skip it. Do not skip it. So the first thing that, young people can do to keep themselves from going homeless is, you're young enough to get a 20-year mortgage. Let me say that again. So first of all, you want to get your credit. You want to get your credit together. Because most young people is just hitting the job market. And most people end up working 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the road. And you don't want to get a house and get a mortgage loan when you're in your 30s, when you're in your 40s. Because you're going to have to pay that loan off for the next 20 years. So if your mortgage is $2,000 a month, or $3,000 a month, then if you're 40 years old and you're working basic jobs, 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up in a position where you're not able to pay for that mortgage, and you have to go to work to pay off the mortgage. So first and foremost, that's what a lot of people in their 30s be doing wrong. In their 40s, especially 40s. If you're in your 40s and you just got a mortgage on a house, you one of the biggest fools. So people, if you're going to get a mortgage on a home, it's better to do it at a younger age, and also a car loan, so and all this has to do, and it ties into your credit, so first and foremost, building credit is easy as ABC 1, 2, 3, especially when you're a young man or woman and you don't have any prior debt. You haven't been to college, and stuff like that. So what I would do is I would pick some type of career, something fast. Like, be fast. You got to be intentional and fast with it. Pick something that you can pull in like $4,000 a month, $4 or $5,000 a month, and mortgage off a property. Get you a property for about $250,000 and get a mortgage loan. But just know you're going to be working and you're going to be paying that mortgage loan off for the next 20, 15, 20, 30 years. But most people who end up, so you'll be 40 or 50 by the time you pay the house off. And the house should be went from 250,000 to probably close to $1 million. If you did it right. The equity in the house should have went up from 250,000 to at least a minimum of $600,000-$700,000. So now you have a home when you're 40, and you probably lease you a car. Go ahead and get you a new car. When you're young. If you have the drive to work and you have the don't give up qualities about you, and teach yourself how to pay bills, just make sure You pay your mortgage, make sure you pay your car note, because in the next 4 to 5 years, you're going to be to own that car. So go ahead and get all that out the way. The car to help you go and get the money, and the mortgage. So you have a home. You have what most older people don't have. You see, most people like myself, I don't have a home. So I'm still renting. But that's the thing about it. Most people end up my age and older and never had a mortgage loan, when we should have got it when we was like 20, 21, 20. Got that mortgage loan and got that 3, 4, 5 bedroom house and paid on it for the next 10, 20 years and built equity in their money. So now most of the people who get mortgages that's 35, 40, 45, they'll never pay it off. They'll never be able to say that they have the deed to this property, because most people, once they get 35 and older, we start having health problems. A lot of people be like, oh man, I'm good, I ain't gonna never have no health problem, man. We start having health problems. Back go out, arthritis start kicking in and stuff like that. And most people are not able to work enough to pay off those bills. But while you're young, if you're focused, go get you a mortgage, go get you a car loan, and mind your business. Stay silent. Don't let nobody know what you're doing. Don't be inviting friends and stuff to your crib. You know how, if you're a black man, your homeboys, don't be inviting guys who's smoking and drinking. If you got friends who play PlayStation or something like that, that's cool. But not guys who ain't got nothing going on, because you're going to end up losing your property. You're going to end up in debt. And it's better to get a mortgage on a property while you're younger than older any day. Because most older people, they don't own their property. They got mortgage. Most of the people you see that's 35 through 50, they're still renting. They never had a home. So now that puts you ahead of everybody else, because you learned about credit, you disciplined yourself into paying bills. You discipline yourself to paying bills. Now you have the rest of your life where you got equity in your property. You don't have to pay rent. You don't have to pay mortgage no more when you're 40, because you own your property. And you can either sell that property, and live off that $700,000, go buy a couple more houses. Now you just set yourself up for your retirement, where you'll never go homeless again. So this video is a blueprint, of what I think that young people should be on. Young people should be saving money, building credit, and go ahead and get that mortgage, man. Get that mortgage while you're in your early 20s. Mid 20s to be the latest. After that,